Hi y'all, today we're going to be talking about the NS Viscount G6, the Baron lookalike available for 4,000 to A7 in the black market, and ultimately not worth running over the regular Baron in any real way whatsoever unless you were trying to do the black market directive or the shotgun directive on NSO. The Viscount is an extremely forgettable shotgun in a lot of ways. Ultimately, it doesn't really have a whole lot going for it because its strongest features don't exist. What makes the Baron really good as a shotgun that makes it arguably the strongest shotgun available in the game right now are not present on the Viscount despite being based on the Baron, and there's a couple simple explanations for this. So, this is a lot like the Baron, so we're actually just going to be mostly comparing this thing to the Baron stats-wise. So, notably, compared to the Baron, you lose out 10 RPM for some reason, I don't know why. You lose 5 meters max damage range, which is rather significant, especially when you consider something I will be talking about in a little bit. You lose muzzle velocity, which is to be expected, doesn't really matter, and even with extended mags, you gain in total 2 shells over the Baron, assuming a Baron player is running extended mags, which they should be. So you have 4, but you really have 2. And ultimately, these 2 are not really important, it's not worth the trade-offs that this costs, but it's convenient to have for reasons that we'll talk about very shortly. So you don't have a lot of options here. Pick the 1X. Ultimately, if you want to pick a slug build, you can take the 3.4, but just pick the 1. In the rail slot, take the comfort grip. The laser is useless because it just doesn't functionally do anything, whereas the comfort grip will at the very least reduce your swap time, which just makes it a little bit more convenient to use. In the ammo slot, neither of these are worth your time. Slug is somewhat worthwhile. Like, slug is okay for meat builds, but you're probably just better off using it standard anyway. Flechette will only further hurt your ranged effectiveness, and it's not really worth running here. So the reason the Viscount kind of sucks is because due to its suppressor built onto the weapon, you cannot take Smart Choke in the barrel slot. And this is arguably what makes the Baron really strong. Normally with the Baron, you take the Smart Choke and you have extremely good damage range combined with good accuracy to boot, so it's really effective out to longer ranges unlike other shotguns. The Viscount doesn't get this Smart Choke, on top of already having a reduced max damage range, which makes it really, really painful to use in comparison to the Baron. I don't think it's a bad shotgun, but it's not a particularly good shotgun. It just feels underwhelming to use. Because the suppressor, okay, so the suppressor is supposed to be the big, like, standout thing about the Viscount. It doesn't matter. You know what? For how you play a shotgun in this game, having a suppressor does not matter. Anybody with a brain will still hear your audio, or will simply see you, and then you'll just die. Or, alternatively, if you kill someone from behind, you would have killed them anyway, even without the suppressor, and probably more reliably with the Smart Choke found on a Baron. It's just not really something worth having on a shotgun. It doesn't really actually solve any problems with the Viscount. It doesn't create any new gameplay opportunities. People who still pay attention will still kill you. Yes, brainlets that don't look at the mini-map will have a little bit tougher of a time, but in general, it doesn't really do a whole lot. So, now, jumping into off-hours Connery, and I mean off-hours Connery, it's 10:49 a.m. right now on a Saturday afternoon, or Saturday morning, rather. And we're going to be jumping into Mirror Bay on Osher. So, it's probably not going to be a great fight, but we do what we can. By now, you will have noticed the lack of background music, almost certainly. My YouTube's been acting up lately, and for whatever reason, it's just constantly stuttering music whenever I try and record a video. So I'm not putting up with it, and you just get to live with no music. You will also note that today I'm running a recursion voice pack during the recording. This will be the standout feature coming forward because, well, I'm no longer running a voice pack that has questionable voice lines in it. So we're going to try and do what we can here. And hopefully I can show you why the Viscount is just not that good. There are a lot of times with the Viscount where you won't get kills that you know you would have gotten with the Baron. Because ultimately, with its poor damage range and lack of a Smart Choke, it just doesn't have enough ranged competition to really be fun to use. And yes, you do have 2 more rounds in the magazine than the Baron, but ultimately these rounds more so feel like you need them in order to get kills, rather than they're actually convenient to have. Don't get me wrong, I'd much rather have the Smart Choke than the 2 rounds, because without the Smart Choke, you need those 2 rounds. If you had the Smart Choke, you wouldn't need them nearly as much. And so it just feels not good. It doesn't feel like a good shotgun. In addition, sure, it's only down 10 RPM, but that 10 RPM does feel rather significant in just the way the gun feels. It does feel slow compared to the Baron. It's only 10 RPM, but it still feels slow, and I haven't been able to figure out why it has this strange penalty compared to the Baron. Because it's clearly not strong enough to justify it. So, I don't really know. As I said in the beginning, the Viscount is ultimately really only a shotgun that you will want to use if you are going for the Black Market Directive or if you are going for the NSO Shotgun Directive, because on NSO, the Viscount is mandatory to complete the Rutherford without paying for a second Baron copy. So it's just something you need to be aware of. If you're on NSO, you will have to use the Viscount if you plan to go for Rutherford. That's just the way it is. On regular factions, safely stay away from it. The Baron will always outperform it. In general, you should just be using the Baron instead of this thing. It's not the worst shotgun ever, but ultimately, it just doesn't really shine at anything. It doesn't offer up any unique gameplay possibilities. It doesn't do anything that the Baron doesn't do better. No, I'm not joining your random off-hour squad. Shoot. Of course, Mirror Bay is not a particularly good fight for this, but we'll do what we can. Do also note my extremely poor mechanical aim with shotguns. It is an issue that I am not very good at because I do not traditionally use shotguns very much. I'm only just pushing out for the Rutherford right now, and I only just Raxi my second Baron. So. But Viscount is... it's just okay. It feels like a C-tier shotgun, honestly. It doesn't really feel any better than a C-tier shotty. Just because... well, it just gets outperformed. The standard semi-autos feel like they outperform it because they're just a little bit more reliable. The auto shotguns feel way more fun to use. The Baron way outperforms it. It's really strong, so I'd hope it would. And the pumps are the pumps, but even then, I'd still rather have the humor of getting one-shots from time to time, rather than the Viscount, where you just don't do anything. Like, if I had the Baron there, I probably would have killed him in 1 to 2 shots less. And then I would have had more time to react. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to go with the Viscount a lot. You're just going to run into situations where you're just sitting there thinking, if I had a Baron, I would have gotten that kill. Or if I had a Baron, I would have kept that life going. Or if I had a Baron, I would have, etc., etc. I will reiterate, it's not bad. It's just not good. It has no real use. Outside of being another weapon to put an Araxi medal on for a directive. That's all it's used for. And if you like Araxi weapons, you know what? Go for it. If you really, really want to add another shotgun Araxi to your collection, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But if you want to actually have a fun time with literally any shotgun in the game, pick something else. If you want to have a good time, just pick the Baron. It's a way better experience. Please stop trying to shoot at me. I'd like my redeploy timer to keep ticking down. Hard to find fights because it's off-hours Connery, and Connery's already fairly dead. Add Osher into that, and oh boy, it's not a very good time. We will quickly run over to C, try and nab out a kill or two, and then we'll probably call the recap where it is. Just trying to get some footage because that's been my problem with the previous 2 shotgun reviews, is I just don't get enough footage with them. So I'm trying to resolve that problem here without making the video too long. Never mind, I'm just bad at the game. Unfortunate. Okay, so in conclusion, if you're just skipping to the end, the Viscount is not a bad shotgun, but ultimately it is completely outperformed by the regular Baron in every single way. The suppressor doesn't actually do anything for you because it doesn't fundamentally change how you play a shotgun, nor does it benefit you against anyone who's actually paying attention. In addition, due to lack of a smart choke and a random 5-meter damage range loss, it just doesn't feel good. It really, really struggles outside of 10 meters, and after that, it really, really suffers to use, where you'll be throwing 4, 6, 8 shots downrange just to kill a guy, or to not kill a guy, when the Baron would have done that in 3 less shots than the Viscount would have, while being a better shotgun on the whole. It's fine if you're going to go for an Araxi medal for the Black Market Directive or the NSO Shotgun Directive. Outside of that, it's a pretty safe skip. It's not really worth your A7. Thank you all, and I will see you all again another time. Bye.